What's up, ladies and gentle tubers? It's Ty. Welcome back to the eveRide channel, and I hope you're having a great day today. I know that I am, because the Kove 450 Rally will be in my garage and in the garages of everybody who made a reservation for this first batch in just 3 or 4 weeks from now. And that's according to Gary Goodwin of GPX, who is the Kove importer here in the United States. And I am so stoked to get mine. If the bike that I tested in February is anything like the final version coming in a few weeks, this bike is going to absolutely crush pretty much every other dual sport and adventure bike out there when it comes to its range of capability. You know, we're talking fuel range, suspension, handling, comfort, roadworthiness, and ability in the dirt, of course. It really is a unicorn, and it will change the ADV world because there is nothing else like it for the money. I mean, obviously, there are better bikes in the dirt and better bikes on the road. Like, you know, we're talking 302 strokes, great in the dirt, BMW GS, amazing on the road, but nothing that I've ever ridden does as much both on the road and in the dirt as this bike. Now, here's another thing. I love the KTM 500. You know that in my review I said I was going to sell it. That has come to pass. I have sold the KTM 500. I still own my 2015 KTM 500. But yeah, my 2022, I let go to my good friend Nate. It's got a good new home. And yeah, that money's going to the Kove because it is just really good. And I just am praying that the final consumer version that comes in this shipment is going to be as good as the demo that I got to ride. Now, in this video, we're going to go over a few things about the Kove, a few products for it, a few updates, the difference between the $14,000 Pro Rally version and the $9,000 standard version, and why I think the standard version is definitely the way to go, and why I believe that the price will go up, way up, in the coming years at the end of the video. So if you've seen my review, I honestly think, again, it's got the largest range of capability of anything out there. It's right in the middle. It's everything the dual sport community has wanted for years and years. It is the ultimate lightweight, kind of middleweight. It depends on who you are. Some people think that a Tenere 700 is middleweight. I think that's a heavy freaking bike. So I'd say it's a lightweight adventure bike. The Kove. It's 320 pounds. Anyway, there is nothing that comes even close to what this bike can do for a mere $9,000. And if you asked me if I could only have one motorcycle ever again, even though I love my old DRZ 400 and I really love the KTM 500, that's still my favorite motorcycle to go out and rip in the dirt with. If I could only have one bike to do everything that I love to do on a motorcycle, road rides, street rides, drag races, and getting into the dirt, long travel, the Kove 450 Rally would be the one I would pick because it can do so much, where the 500 is kind of limited on the road. You know, the old adage about dual sports, particularly the Kawasaki KLR 650, which I've owned, loved, was my first bike, is that it can do everything but nothing particularly well. So true. Well, the Kove 450 Rally can also do everything, and it can do everything quite well. For example, it has the weight of a DRZ 400S, which is not a super lightweight dirt bike. It's 320 pounds dry, so it's light enough to easily pick up in a tip over and manage in a pinch, but it's still kind of heavy enough to be stable and reduce vibrations on the road. It's got a fuel range of 360 miles. That's on par or better than a BMW GS Adventure. It's got the suspension and handling, in my opinion, that is similar to the legendary Honda XR650R, one of my favorite motorcycles of all time. It won Baja many, many times over. And the Kove feels like an XR650R, and that's even with a full 8 gallons of gasoline in it. It is faster in a drag race than a similarly corked KTM 500. It did lose to the uncorked 500, but killed my 2022 that was corked. And I would say comfort is somewhere between a Honda 450L and a KLR 650. It's smooth on the road, it's got a cush drive, dampened handlebars, dampened hardware, which I've never even seen before. It's comfortable at 80 miles per hour with totally reasonable RPMs. It's got dual overhead cams for smoothness. And for a single cylinder 450 thumper to feel like this thing does on the road is simply insane. And one of the coolest things, Kove is building a race pedigree with excellent performances in the Sonora Rally, the Taklaman Rally, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, and the big one, the Dakar Rally. Now, the Dakar itself is 5,281 miles with some of the toughest terrain in the world, and 3 of 3 Kove bikes finished. Now, these aren't just like, special bikes that they sent over. These are the same bikes that are being released to us, the Rally Pro version. The demo bikes in the USA, including the one that I got to test in February, are getting on with about 4,000 rough miles on them without any issues at all. Oil changes, tire changes, standard maintenance, air filters, they're doing fine. And all this for $9,000. Now, yes, it's built and designed in China, and not all products from China have had stellar reputations in the moto world. Just go look at my review of the CSC. I don't even want to bring it up because I got so much hate for that video, but I'm not going to compromise my integrity to make some company look good. That was just a bad bike. But the way that the world is today with inflation, social unrest, and supply chain stuff, most bikes are, and companies are, shifting production to China, Vietnam, Thailand, Mexico, and countries where production is just cheap and factories are plentiful. And even when manufactured in these countries, getting a bike of this caliber with an Austrian or Japanese badge would cost significantly more. So this, for me, on paper, checked all the boxes of the Unicorn Dual Sport adventure motorcycle, and when I tested it for the week last winter, somehow it delivered even more than what I expected. I was shocked. I fell in love with it very quickly, put in a reservation to buy one, and then even became an affiliate for Kove because I really do believe this bike is going to change the whole scene. Now, I have been talking with Gary, asking him all kinds of questions about the Kove, bugging him more than really anybody deserves to be bugged, and he has all kinds of answers for me, which I'm going to let you know in this video. So I'll get right into it while you watch this raw helmet camera footage from back last winter when I had the 450 rally here in St. George for one of my adventure rallies. Now, for the sake of clarity, there are 2 versions of the Kove 450 Rally. There's the actual rally bike, the same bike that raced in the Dakar, the Taklaman, the Sonora Rally, the same bike that finished all 3. It did really well in Sonora, it did really well in the Taklaman Rally, and I'll call that the Pro version, okay? It costs $14,000. And then there's the standard version, which is the one that I'm getting, the one that I tested, and the one that costs just $9,000. Now, the Pro version has some really cool add-ons with it for racing, but the regular version is the same bike, but it has ABS, which the rally version does not, and the regular version also has a full color display, while the rally version has that carbon roadbook. And yes, the roadbook looks super cool, but I'd much rather have the functionality of that TFT display and the safety of the ABS. Now here's the cool part. Everything that makes the Pro version, you can buy separately for the standard version from GPX. So you can pick and choose what's important to you and just build up the standard version to meet your needs, save some money, and still have an incredibly good bike. I mean, it is the same bike, just the Pro version has a bunch of parts. We'll talk about it. But first, if you remember from my review, I wanted to know if the Kove was going to have graphics kit options because I think the stock graphics are a little Spartan. Gary told me that some sexy pre-made graphics kits along with custom graphics kits that you can design for yourself will both be $280. And I definitely plan on doing some custom graphics for my Kove, put my sponsors on there, Bengay and Arnicare and Kirkland fiber pills, things that I really use when I ride motorcycles. I also saw on AliExpress and actually ordered for myself a bunch of parts that I hope won't be crap. I got a few protective parts that now that they're here, they honestly seem pretty flimsy. I got an unbranded steering stabilizer, which actually looks and feels pretty good, and I got a rear rack, which is still on its way, so I have yet to see the quality of that. But the quality of these little protective parts could be totally hit or miss. I'm happy to test them and let you know my honest opinion once the bike arrives so that you don't waste your hard-earned money on these little parts. Maybe they'll work great. If they're actually good, you can snag some with some confidence because I'm going to bash them around for you, okay? Speaking of aftermarket parts, Gary assured me that he will have some awesome extras ready for the bike when they arrive in a few weeks. Now, on the GPX website, they've got crash pucks, the phone mount, the rear rack, the auxiliary lights, but there will be other things that I'm going to talk about. First and foremost, Gary told me that motor-wise, the difference between the Pro version and the standard version is pretty much just the ECU mapping, and the map that they use for the racing the Pro version will be available to install on the standard version. Now, I'm not sure if that will cost anything because it's just software, or if GPX will be able to do that for you for free. Gary has a video on the Kove 450 Rally Instagram account of that remap taking place, and that rally map is the map that I want. I mean, the Kove is already a quick bike, but I want that rally mapping. So a while ago I asked Gary if there would be a switch available to switch from standard mapping to rally mapping, which would be incredibly cool. You see it on betas, you see it on some aftermarket KTM parts, and he said not yet. So maybe on future imports, but even with some possible improvements in the future, I still think that you should kind of be an early adopter for Kove now, and I'll tell you why in a minute. A few other things that I want to get on the Kove are the steering stabilizer, which I already got some no-name steering stabilizer from AliExpress. Maybe it's going to be good, maybe it's going to be crap. But here's the thing, I believe that the one that comes on the Kove is an actual Scott's steering stabilizer. So that's the one on the Rally, the Pro version, and you'd probably want to get a steering stabilizer for the regular version because this bike likes to go fast. It's comfortable at high speeds. I had it up to 50, 60, 70 miles per hour on rocky trails with G-outs and stuff, and it just glides over it like nothing else I've ever been on. And you want that extra stability. I'm telling you, because this bike is easy to go very fast off-road. And I don't care how good the suspension is on any bike, and it's really good on this bike, but if you hit a big square edge and it whips your bars into a tank slapper at 70 miles an hour off-road, that's no good. Get a steering stabilizer for it. Another item from the Pro version is the taller windscreen that accommodates that bigger carbon road book. And though I'm not interested in the road book, I do want that taller windscreen, so I will be ordering one of those. And one of the coolest things, and I mentioned this in my review, is that for Dakar rally bikes, they require a water tank for emergencies. Well, I happen to think it's a great idea for pretty much any bike, and Kove will be selling this water tank that will fit between the motor and the skid plate, which I definitely will be getting. Now, I know with that location, this water is going to be hot, it's not going to taste good, I don't care. With the riding that I plan on doing with this bike, I will be in some of the most remote areas of the United States, and along with the added fuel range of that outstanding 8-gallon tank, I want that extra peace of mind when I'm out there exploring these areas. Now, another thing that the Pro version comes with that I'm assuming you can pick up through GPX, although Gary didn't mention anything about it in his texts, is the bib mousses instead of tubes. I would rather just save my money and put in my own ultra heavy duty tubes. I think moose bibs are cool for hard enduro and trailer dirt bikes, but on the road they're horrible. I would much rather have UHD tubes for anything that goes on the road, including my Kove, because I've had issues with both mooses and tubeless systems, and I no longer use either of those systems in my bikes. I exclusively use ultra heavy duty tubes. Now, that's not saying that mooses or the tubeless systems are bad. I actually love the traction that they both provide. They're absolutely amazing for hard enduro, for racing, for that kind of stuff. But UHD tubes for my use case scenario, where we're doing kind of longer rallies, longer rides, they just are a lot less drama, and I've never had a flat with one, knock on wood. You can also purchase the titanium exhaust that comes on the Pro version. Now, I'm not going to do that. I personally enjoyed the sound of the regular exhaust. I think it sounds great. And from what I saw on the Kove Instagram account, the stainless exhaust is a lot quieter, even though it still has that kind of nice throaty grunt to it. You guys know that I'm getting to that ripe old age where I'm starting to yell at the kids to get off my lawn and turn the music down. But if you want that bit of weight savings and a much louder exhaust note, that titanium exhaust that's on the race version, the Pro version, will be available to buy. Now, another thing that I mentioned in the review was aftermarket support. Will companies, be supporting this thing? Will US companies be making parts for this machine? And what needs to happen is, the bike needs to be tested by these companies. If they think, hey, this might sell well, they will make parts for it. Now, on the Kove 450 Rally Instagram page, and according to Gary told me that Rocky Mountain will be adding parts for the Kove 450 Rally to their site soon, and they are working on their own parts for it, probably Tusk. And other companies are also getting involved, like Recluse is making an auto clutch for it. A few other companies are getting started. That says volumes, that Gary could take those Koves to these companies, especially Rocky Mountain, which is huge, and they say, this is good enough, it's going to be a big seller, we're going to invest the R&D to make parts for it. That is a huge, huge vote of confidence in the ability of these bikes that Rocky Mountain would say, yeah, we're going to make parts, we believe in it. So, let's talk a little about why I think the price of the 450 Rally will go up in the future. Right now, Kove is brand new. Any company that's brand new in the bike scene is going to struggle. Kove is fighting a massive uphill battle. Go ahead, read on any forum or look at any Facebook group covering the Kove. Look at the comments in this video, in the review video, and people in the West, many people in the West, want nothing to do with a Chinese-made motorcycle. Be it politics, which is a pretty good reason, build quality on past experiences, which is another really good reason, and just downright racism, which is a terrible reason. But, good reasons are bad. There are a lot of people who refuse to buy Chinese motorcycles. Kove is entering a downright hostile market. And they're not going to be able to come in here and, sell their bike for $20,000, whatever. The only way to break into a market like that is to bring it in for just cheap, hope people buy it, and then let the product speak for itself. So I've heard rumors, and I don't know if they're true. I think I saw it on one of Kove's videos when they were recording about the Dakar. But I've heard that Kove isn't making any money on the bikes imported to the West. Their strategy right now is simply to get in the door, let the importers earn a little money, gain some trust in the brand, let people ride them, and build a reputation. Now, you guys, I could be wrong. Maybe the bike that arrives in a few weeks is going to be way different, way worse than the one that I tested, and I'll be the first to let you know that we all got scammed. And I know where Gary lives, and if that's the case, I'll be the first to go right up there and punch him in the face. But if it is even remotely close to how good that demo bike that I was able to test was, Kove is going to blow that door wide open, just like Japan did in the 80s and 90s with their motorcycles. So let's say the reputation grows, consumer trust goes up. Yeah, Kove isn't going to ship bikes over here at cost for very long. They're going to want to start making money, so naturally the price is going to go up. So now, I believe, is a good time to buy one. Hold up, though. On the other hand, I full-on understand that it is risky to be an early adopter for anything. Video games, computer parts, software, motorcycles especially a $9,000 motorcycle. That's a lot to pay for a Chinese motorcycle, okay? And you're putting a ton of trust in some rando on YouTube that says it's good. Well, I do also think that it's wise to wait at least until it comes out next month and then I can do a full review on the final imported real-life 2024 consumer version of the Kove 450 Rally. And guys, I'm not getting some special one-off rally bike. I'm literally going to drive up there because they're being imported to Utah. That's where GPX is at. I'm going to pick a crate at random, and I'm going to haul it home. So I'm not getting a special one. And guys, I am not going to compromise my integrity. I make a 3% commission from GPX on these Koves. That's $270 per bike. I'll say it right out there. And so far, there have been 16 pre-orders from my link. So I've made $4,320. That's great. I'm really grateful for that. Now here's the thing, riding that bike, writing the script for the review, filming it, editing it, researching all the different bikes, looking at rally results, all that stuff, that took about a month of work. Now I'm happy to make that commission, but a few $1,000 for a month of work and $1,000 discount towards a motorcycle is just not enough to make me compromise my integrity or mislead not only my wider audience, but my close friends that I've recommended this bike to. So it really is good, or at least the demo that I rode in February was good. And we'll see how the final product is in just a few weeks. Maybe it's trash, I will let you know, and I will punch Gary right in the throat. Anyway guys, that's it for the updates. Gary will be getting back to me with more information as it comes along, and I'll try to get that either uploading quickly in a video or put it in the description. Again, this bike is probably on the ship right now, on its way, and if you want to use that link in the description, you will be able to reserve your Kove for $500 instead of $1,000, which is cool, and I will get that 3% commission, which really helps me out. Now I'm trying to work with Gary to make something happen for future orders. Maybe if you buy a Kove with my link, you'll get some money off, or maybe a credit towards some Kove parts or gear. We'll see what happens. Either way, I'm going to be brutally honest about this bike. I don't make enough to compromise that integrity. I don't think there is a price that would make me compromise the integrity. I love this community. I don't want to scam people. I really do believe in this bike, and I will be so upset if it sucks come a month from now, but I have high hopes that the released versions are going to be just as good as that demo version. Anyway, if you want to see the full review of the bike, maybe you're in the dark about all this, and you want to hear the reasons why I do think that this is the most capable adventure motorcycle in the world, there's a little card for you. And as always, a huge thanks to my producers for making videos like this possible. And now you can just sit back, watch some raw sound, raw helmet camera video of the Kove in action. Much love as always, you guys. This is the greatest community in the world. I like the dual sport community better than the dirt bike guys. I like it better than the adventure guys. I like it better than mountain bike guys, obviously. Way better than side-by-side guys. No, really, this community is fantastic. Thank you guys so much for your support, for watching my videos over the years. Yeah, you're the best. Anyway, much love. eveRide out.
Nice. Who is that behind me? Oh, nice. Yeah. Either way, just keep going south.